morning and welcome to CSL Leesburg. I am Tamara, and for the year 2026, we are exploring the theme Open at the Top. For the month of August, we have the theme of the fear and the furious, and this is week 4. So we have the topic mobilizing anger, and it will be given by our wonderful Reverend Charlene Banks. We're so glad that you took some time out of your busy day to join us. Please let us know if you have any prayer concerns or celebrations that you would like us to include later in our service when Reverend Charlene does the prayer portion of our service, which we call spiritual mind treatment. It is a form of affirmative prayer. So that's all I have to say to kick things off. Take a deep breath, sit and relax, and enjoy our opening video. Please, I have to say to kick things off. Take a deep.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
All right, and now it is time for the meditation portion of our service. So last week, I took a meditation that I found on Insight Timer. If you don't know that app and you like to meditate, you might want to check it out. This week, I stumbled upon one that I really liked. It's by a therapist named Scarlett Grace, and this is called Managing Feelings of Worry and Uncertainty. I took it and modified it, put my stamp on it, but I'd say 75% of this came from her meditation. So with that introduction, just sit back, relax your shoulders, and take a breath in and hold and release through your mouth. Take another breath in through your nose and hold and release. So managing feelings of worry and uncertainty. How are you feeling in 2026? You feeling some uncertainty about the future, about this month, about the rest of the year. Uncertainty is difficult and uncomfortable, and it feels unsafe. When we're experiencing uncertainty, we kind of feel like a ship that's tossed in the waves, that we're in uncharted waters and we're far from a safe harbor. And I'm sharing this one because I understand. I have found myself on that ship before, and I'll bet you have too. It's difficult to get through life without having little surprises thrown at you. So, first of all, begin by just giving yourself compassion and maybe a little sense of confidence. I've been here before. I've been on this ship. I've been tossed by the waves and I made it. Maybe it didn't come out the way I wanted it to, but I'm here. I'm at CSL Leesburg today. So obviously I made it through that time. And you can remind yourself, I'll make it through this time too. So let's begin by thinking of something that is certain. During this time of uncertainty, or when you're feeling a moment of uncertainty, think about something that hasn't changed. It could be a relationship. It could be a daily activity that you do every single day. It could be a place in your home that there's our music that hasn't changed. And that just kind of anchors you and reminds you, yes, things might be changing all around you, but not everything is changing. Some things are staying the same. And let's take a moment and find a few more anchors. Something to hold on to when we feel waves of uncertainty and those waves are getting just a bit too strong and our ship is being tossed around. So I'm going to read a couple affirmations and maybe you can find one or two that just really resonate with you. I trust in my ability to cope and adjust if necessary. And think of a time when you did that, when you had to kind of, all right, plan A is not working. I'm going to have to go to plan B. And maybe when you think about plan B, maybe it worked out a little bit better. Here's another affirmation. I trust in my ability to find navigational beacons that will guide me in the right direction. I trust that solutions will appear. Charlene knows there was a time in my life when I'm like, yep, when I need that stepping stone, the next step appears in front of me. Another affirmation. I trust that everything will unfold exactly as they need to do so. I might have imagined a different outcome, but I allow room for other possibilities. I trust that there is a divine plan. And I know with certainty that I am safe. I am blessed and I am loved. And so it is. All right, slowly come back and rejoin us and enjoy some music by Leah.
It is something to have wept as we have wept, and something to have done as we have done. It is something to have watched when all have slept, and see the stars which never see the sun. It is something to have wept as we have wept, and something to have done as we have done. It is something to have watched with something, and see the stars which never see the sun. It is something.
Wow, that was short and sweet. Let me stop sharing. And thank you, Tamara, for that that initial thing. I mean, I love the idea of the uncertainty being something that you can grapple with and you use it as an indicator, because that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today, because we are in a 5-week series of the fear and the furious. And these last 2 weeks, because it's a 5-week series, I did something that I really wanted for me. And when I know that if I had this for me, I would love it, then I'm like, okay, great, then I'll do it for everyone. So the backstory, just really quick. The title of this talk today is Mobilizing Anger. And the idea about mobilizing anger sounds like an angry mob, right? It sounds like an angry mob. So it got me to thinking. And because I live the life I live, because I listen to the podcasts and I'm always deep into technology, I couldn't help but grab onto one little thread that was said in one of the podcasts I listened to that talk about AI. It's Moonshots. Everybody needs to listen to Moonshots, the podcast, the YouTube. Anyway, I don't get paid to comment on that, but it's so good. Now, one of the people said that memes, mimetic ideas have shaped humans for eons. And I'm like, memes? Do you mean the memes that we see on social media? Well, that's where the word comes from. Meme is is a depiction of a energy or of a situation. And we can think of memes. You know, the meme of the dog who's sitting in a room that's clearly a house that's burning down, and he's like, everything's fine. It's fine. It's fine. That's a meme. And the reason we call it a meme is because it captures an essence, a way of seeing the world that everybody gets it when they see it. And so what made me pull on that thread was, wait, isn't this what Ernest Holmes called race consciousness? Isn't this idea of memes the encapsulation of a story from a certain point of view that just nails it? And it goes back, far back, to when we've been writing on the walls of caves. Like, we've been telling stories in little pithy images for eons. So what they said next in this podcast was interesting to me, because they said, well, there's a handful of them, and I don't know if they said 30 or 50, but there's like an identified number of overall points of view or stories that sort of, they're ideas that took on a life of their own. Now, I'm not gonna think that the idea itself was never embodied as a human. I think it started like that. And then what happens is these energies, these stories, these ways of looking at the world, well, they get a life of their own. And now it moves through our culture like wildfire, the fire that's in the middle of the room, that everything's fine. That idea, it catches on. And so then it got me more further into rabbit holes. And of course, I knew that it would wrap into today's talk. I know everything I'm interested in during the week, even if I don't think of it, but it's in me, it all feeds into this story. So here's what I want to say about that. Ernest Holmes tells us that, all right, I do have the quote, and I'm going to work backwards, but seriously, it's amazing. Ernest Holmes, where are you, sir? I need you not to hide from my scrolling mouse. Okay, he's gone. Well, actually, I'll work backwards from something. I'll tell you a personal story. There I was. I had just returned from Egypt. It was 2001. I'm at the airport. And I had just picked up my son from California, and I'm going to go home to Virginia. Right? I just went on a trip with Agape, 2 weeks. I'm just spiritually enlightened. And I was still wearing some of the garb that I wore every day over there. It's cottony material, and I think I had long extensions, and I had sort of a bandana around this part of my head, and it was tied. It's how you move through Egypt. You don't want your head not covered. It's what you did. Now, I was still doing that because I was in the habit. I'm in the airport. There was a group of white men, and they were the men that I imagine they run things. I imagine they're in a boardroom somewhere when they're not on a plane. And these are the people I teach when I'm teaching technical classes. Now, I don't look the way I normally look when I'm teaching technical classes, so these men proceeded to make fun of me. And I could see it. It was right there in front of me. And sure, I was dressed a certain way, and they had to make certain assumptions. I'm at the LA airport. I got some bandana tied around my head. I'm a black woman. I've got a child. I'm clearly a single mother. You know, the whole trope. And I could see it. I could feel it. I could feel how they saw me. I could sense it. And there was nothing I could do about it. Oh, but the inside of me was like jumping. I was like grabbing air in my soul. And I was like, come to one of my tech classes. I'm gonna see who you're laughing at. I was like, and if I could do it, I would do it, but I couldn't do it, y'all. How am I going to fight back? So I had to just woosah. I'm coming from Egypt, Agape spiritual trip. I woosah'd all the whole time. I could do it one more time, and I breathed in and I let it roll off my back, but it was part of me. For the rest of that day, even interacting with my child, I saw myself from that point of view a little bit. And I started feeling like an NPC. Now, if you don't know what that means, it stands for non-playing character or non-playable character. It's the people, when you're playing a video game, it's the people that are in the street buying things. They don't have any speaking roles. These are the people, the background actors. Normally, when I live my life, I am the main character. I am the one making the decisions. I'm the one choosing my path forward. I'm the heroine in the story. And when villains like that show up, I still get to be the heroine because I will step up, I will say something, I will have a witty retort. This time, my friends, I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't do anything about it without being the problem. So I went the rest of my day. I remember it so clearly. I just felt like a non-playable character. And I have to tell you that that's not strange for those people who have been marginalized. This is an everyday occurrence for many people that walk in many societies. So the question is, what happens to that anger? What happens to the anger? Now, I'm going to read you an exact quote from the reading today from our home office, and I'll get back to Uncle Ernest. I'll get back to him in a minute, but this book that was recommended for this talk today is from a person named, where's the name? Is Meenadchi. So M-E-E-N, Meen, and then A-D-C-H-I, Meenadchi. Okay, Meenadchi, listen, there'll be show notes if you're listening to this later. And the people in the chat, I'll just paste it and the title of the book, which is Decolonizing Nonviolent Communication. Decolonizing Nonviolent. Think about it. What does that mean? All right, so here's the whole phrase. And I have to tell you, I'll be honest, I had to Google this because I was like, what are you saying? And that's when I realized, oh, I live this. Okay, are you ready? Listen to this. The whole reading goes like this. If an emotional experience is inaccessible to us, it is an indicator that we are not in full choice. Emotional experiences begin to be limited in infancy, when we start receiving cues that we need to not be so upset, not be so sad, not be so happy. As children, many of us were told, through words or otherwise, to limit our enthusiasm and joy. Just settle down. Anger is one such emotion that is frequently locked away and denied. The result is a struggle to communicate anger in healthy ways and difficulty distinguishing between anger that serves and toxic anger. two types: anger that serves and toxic anger. Now, anger that serves is like a flame. It is forward moving. It is bright. When it is acknowledged, it dissipates. Toxic anger, on the other hand, lives in our bodies like a poison. It swims in circles with no place to go. No amount of expression diminishes its virulence or its hold. I have often heard it said that movement spaces are filled with people who carry this quality of anger, this bitter, consuming, toxic fury at the White House, white people, those men at the airport, I added that part, or whatever. Toxic anger is not anger. It is, in truth, a graveyard of grief. Toxic anger is not anger. It is, in truth, a graveyard of grief. All right. A mass gathering of unexpressed feelings and unmet needs, both intergenerational and individual. Now, that reference was when you go to a movement, like if I decided to go to the Black Lives Matter because I've been offended by these people and they made me feel a certain way, what I might experience is a mass gathering of unexpressed feelings like what I had. Unmet needs, that's really grief, really I'm carrying a graveyard of grief to a bunch of graveyards of grief. So then, the last paragraph. Systemic conditions disallow impacted folks with an X, which I'll let you know what that means later. It was like, whoa, what? Okay. Impacted folks from expressing grief or heartache. Our movement spaces are filled with this toxicity, not because anybody wants to carry it, but because we have not been allowed sufficient time and space to grieve. As individuals and as a collective, our health and well-being depends on our willingness to find space to do it anyway. And close quote. So what? Now, when I read that, I did ask the AI, I'm like, all right, as an African American woman, I told the AI, because this is one that doesn't know me. It's like, who this? As an African American woman, I see this chunk of text that I just quoted to you. I put it in, I said, help me understand it, because I think the words that they're using aren't really, they're not connecting with me. And then when Gemini came back with, oh, well, so it's talking about toxicity and anger, and how some anger, as soon as you can address it, you're going to feel fine because you've addressed it. But other anger, you're not free to address it, and it hurts, and it's toxic because it doesn't express itself. And then when it's toxic and doesn't express itself, and then you create a movement around that kind of anger, then what you get is a bunch of people bringing that graveyard. It explained it all to me, and I was like, oh, like the time at the airport when I wasn't able to address those men who were making fun of me for the whatever. I think it had to do with the fact that I had a head rag on, and maybe they were calling me Tupac Get. I don't know. I don't even know what they were saying, but they were tickled to death, pointing at me. And that was the toxic anger that I carried with me palpably through the day. I remember treating my son differently. I remember feeling not so generous to the people who are not like me, not holding that door open because I don't want to be your slave, not dancing at the party because I don't want to be that dancing, you know what, N-word. I was just on myself. I was on one because I allowed the toxic anger to fester. I didn't grieve like I could have. I didn't realize I was grieving. And I'm comparing that. I'm in here talking to Jim, and I like, oh, like that time. And then I remember all the times when I can just tell somebody, excuse me, what did you mean by that? And the way that the anger goes away when they realize, oh God, I'm so sorry. Because people don't sleep. They don't even mean it. They're doing things and they don't even know. When I'm able to address it, it goes away. That's the anger with the flame that helps me move forward. But the anger with the toxicity, the one that's inward, that's the one that if we get into groups, all we do is kind of zhuzh up, lather each other up. And now we're all a frothy hot mess. and no healing is happening. So that was like, oh, is that what that means? Shout out to the AI helping Charlene understand. And then it even told me that folks with an X is a way to identify a group of people, black, brown, and so they said black, indigenous, BIPOC, black, indigenous, and people of color, BIPOC. That's the folks with an X. So if you ever want to seem like you're up on things, you can just be like, oh, folks with an X. Or don't do it. Maybe that's embarrassing. But how excited was I to find out that there's a name for the thing that I experienced and I couldn't put my finger on it? Because the point of that whole quote, it was this. She said, if an emotional experience is inaccessible to us, it's an indicator that we're not in full choice. All right, so now comes Ernest Holmes. Emotion uncontrolled produces chaos. Unexpressed, it produces confusion, conflict, and complexes. For energy will have an outlet. Oh, it will have an outlet, says Ernest Holmes. And this is Science of Mind, page 588. He talks about emotion, therefore, as something that if we cannot name it, express it, or at least put it somewhere, at least have words to encapsulate, oh, I know what I'm feeling right now. Because then if I can identify what I'm feeling, then I have a roadmap to move through that emotion and not live as a non-playing character in my own show, my own video game. I'm not even Zelda anymore, which actually she's not the lead. Link is. Okay, fine. The lady who does the Lara the Tomb Raider, her, she's pretty powerful video game, and she goes in there and she's doing stuff and she's rappelling off the side of mountains. Imagine somebody came and told her she's not good enough, and now she's playing the mummy and she's not herself anymore. This is sometimes we could get knocked off our center. But Ernest Holmes and the New Thought movement has known that this was happening the whole time. In fact, because I was in a rabbit hole, I couldn't help but ask. So this whole meme thing, the memetics, that whole approach to life, tell me about that. Like, was that done? Did people call it something else? And of course, we go back further and further. There were many names for the memetic, for the meme. The fact that there are whole thought systems that are embodied in a particular meme. And Plato was the one who said, well, they're not always bad. We have some overarching thought forms in this world, and we're going to call them the highest thought forms for humanity. Beauty, love, joy, all the things that we say are qualities of the divine. Well, those have always been around too. So the movement of ideas that are not ours, or the thoughts, just think of as a thought form that congeals. It just little thought forms that all gather together and move through the world. They congeal and they have an effect on us. And when we are scrolling, you knew I was going to get to it. When we use technology and social media, we have the ability to witness this at scale. We can witness it at scale. And I do wonder, back in the caveman times, I'm not sure that the meme of, I don't have enough to eat, so therefore I have to steal your food. Like that's a whole memetic. Or something in the Middle Ages, Mom, I really hate this outfit. I don't want to wear this outfit. Somebody found a 4,000-year-old tablet that had on it, I really hate the outfit that you're having me wear. I really don't like this. We got to pick something else. It has been around forever. So shout out to I hate my outfit, Mom. You're making me look like a dork at school. Okay? That's been around forever. So these things have been around forever. And I was like, but now we're in a time of technology and we can witness it happening. We can witness it. When you look at social media from a standpoint of, let's just put it as a stance of, I'm not in control, I'm more browsing out of boredom, I need you to watch when you do that. Watch when you look at social media, and I'm just going to make social media the culprit, although in and of itself it's not a bad thing. I'll just say for now that, because typically that's the only right now algorithm that I can make an analogy to, as different from you walking through the world and just noticing things. When you do it through a device, it is an immediate feedback loop. Let me explain. If you came to a class of mine and I asked you, what have you been thinking about lately? And you tell me what you would like to have been thinking about lately, sure. But then if I ask you to write down how you spend your time, you'll see there might be a delta. Or I ask you, what do you value most? Time with the family, working out, eating right. What do you spend your time doing? Well, I'm always at work. Okay, so technically there's a disconnect. Well, that's in classes. But if you just look at the next time you open up that app, what is the first thing that's offered to you in a short form video or long form video or Facebook post? What is the first thing that's offered to you? Because that is an indication of what you've been paying attention to. Because the algorithms that serve you the next thing to keep you engaged, those are trained by your attention. It's just like life, but life takes a little longer to kind of bear it all out. Ernest Holmes teaches us that when we train our thoughts, we'll change our lives, but it doesn't happen right away. Not as fast as a TikTok algorithm. Man, if you linger on the dance, maybe somebody's doing the crip walk. Guilty, trying to learn how to do it. Can't do it. But I'd like to watch it. When I linger, more than just a moment, it's like, got it. We'll show you more of those. You have to be conscious about what you linger on, because the algorithm is not trying to serve you healing. It's not trying to serve you something to make you grow. It's trying to capture your attention. And usually that attention is given when you're in fear, or you're in worry, or you're in doubt. Uncertainty, you'll scroll a little more, you'll linger a little more in the things that you're most scared about. And what are you training the algorithm to do? Feed you things to be worried about. It is a feedback loop that is it's not even personal. Like electricity itself can be used to light your house or to kill a man. These are Ernest Holmes' words. Electricity is not bad. It's how we choose to use the electricity. Fire is not bad. It's how you choose to use the fire. These things in and of themselves do not have their own volition, but you know what does? Untrained thoughts. Undisciplined mindsets. When you sit down at your social media app, you sit down to watch the news, you're going to, if you don't bring your intention with you as the lead character in your story, you will become the non-playable character that just gets walked over. And it's just really wild to me that how that happens. So when you become angry, our first step, I want to say, to self-mastery is to let it inform you. Let the anger ignite the curious in you. Let anger make you curious, because then you'll be able to tease apart the source of the irritant that's making you angry. And it could be one of two things. Someone is playing on your emotions to get more engagement, get more attention from you, and if it's a person in your life that likes to dance on your fears to get what they want, shame on them. But also, now you know, move differently around them. And the idea is that anger sometimes is popping up. Remember, it's a signal. It's an alarm. Wake up. Hello, something's going on. Now investigate it, please. Because it could be just a moving orb of embodied thought. Someone has set in motion a pendulum that has a lot of energy behind it and moves on its own. And it's a way of thinking, it's a judgment, it's a thought form that is floating by. And as we know with meditation, you don't have to interrupt it. You don't have to grab every leaf that's floating by on the river. You could just let it go. Don't give any attention to it. Do not feed it. Feeding it is reacting in a strong way either way. Strong emotional reactions That's training the algorithm. In this case, the algorithm is your life. What you pay attention to, you're going to attract. So when you have an emotional reaction to the thing, then you're going to attract things of like nature. So we know that you've got to sit down with a bit of a guide. You're the guide for your emotions. You're not going to just let them flap you around. And you're going to organize your thoughts in a way that you're going to think about what you want to think about. This is the trained thought that's going to be the order of the day. Most of the time, you'll be choosing thoughts you do want. You'll be choosing ideas that you want to experience, not being flapped around by the whims of those around you. Because the more power that you give to your thoughts, your ideas, the more directed you are, then the more effective you're going to be. So that's the idea. Now, the thing about anger is that there's love underneath it. If you didn't have love underneath, you would not care at all. You would be disinterested. You would just be detached from it. So the love is at the core of anger, and you have to ask yourself, okay, remember, here's the thing. You get angry, let it be a spark, curiosity, and now ask, does the thing I wish to do, this thing that I want, because clearly I'm angry because I'm not getting something that I want, does what I want express more life, more happiness, more peace? Or is it something, in fact, this is Ernest Holmes, does the thing I wish to do express more life, more happiness, more peace to myself, and at the same time harm no one? If it does, it is right. If it does not help you and harm no one, if it just helps you but maybe harm someone, well, that's selfish, he says. So when we use these digital tools, if we sit down at our digital tools and we start scrolling or we start looking at things and consuming, remember, using the digital tool is not so-called bad. I'm not saying everybody shut your computer, laptop, and get out there, touch grass. Although that would be fine if you did it. But it's not the culprit. The electricity, the items, the things you're doing are not the culprit. It's how we're using them. Use these things like a conductor does. And then if we understand that what's beneath the anger is a love for justice, a love for equality, a love for respect amongst us, then of course I can then acknowledge that while I might not be able to change the situation, I might not be able to reach over there and smack those men around and say, I bet you next week I'll be teaching you a class and you have to be nice to me. I'm not going to give in to that. I'll just know that, oh, I'm angry because I really value respect and honor of all people. I've given these people no reason to point at me and make fun of me. When it was so clear they were doing it, I couldn't be wrong that they're doing it. But what can I do about it? I can just notice, oh, well, let me double down on making sure no one in my life feels that way because of my actions. Let me ensure that no one ever, as a result of my interaction with them, feels less than or not the main character in their life. So instead of making it about someone else, I'm making it about my call to action, that this is being shown to me so that I can become a better person, because love is always at the root of anger. We just need to point that love in a direction that allows that anger to have been the flame to push us forward, to move, to mobilize us forward, not the toxic anger that separates. So let's take that into our hearts, and I can't believe time is already over. I just love talking about this, but I do recognize the time. Let's go into prayer. I'm going to check the chat. Is there anybody that needs prayer? All right, with this, just knowing that we are one with each other, regardless of the appearance of separation, There's only one divine life, one power, one energy. This is source. This source energy animates everything, everyone, and this entire experience called life. And we are one with source. There can be no separation. As being one with source, we have access to and are never far from the highest frequencies available, and that is love. We can vibrate at the love frequency the moment we turn our attention toward it, because the divine is always turned toward us. Sometimes we forget to turn toward it. So with our faces turned inward, our mind's eye turned downward into the place of the Most High where Source dwells, I speak my word that everything is unfolding for the highest good for each and every one of us. Every person that can hear my voice right now is in the midst of divine blessings and wealth and abundance in form and in energy, that the wealth is not just material wealth, that it arrives in health and wholeness and happiness and joy and the ability to communicate and connect with one another. That this is our true nature and we enjoy it in abundant supply, pressed down and running over. And I speak my word that everywhere we go, today and forward, we will be a healing light, that we shall never allow another person in our presence to feel separate from us, to feel othered, or to feel less than. That our highest call to action is to be inclusive, to be loving, and to recognize the God in all. So I just know that this is already unfolding. I know that this is happening right here and right now, so I simply bless it. I say thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you, Source. I release my word into the law. I allow it to be, and so it is. And so I am. And now from Leah.
Coming to voice is an act of resistance. Now let our choice be each act of love. Coming to voice is an act of resistance. Now let our choice be each act of love. Coming to go into your voice. 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 Coming to voice is an act. Coming to your voice. Now let our choice be each act. Coming to your voice. Coming to voice is an act. Coming to your voice. Now let our choice be each act. Coming to your voice. Go into your voice. Coming to your voice. Coming to your voice. Coming to your voice. Hey, 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 hey. Coming to voice is an act. Coming to your voice. Now let our choice be each act. Coming to your voice.
That phrase is by Bell Hooks, who is a U.S. American writer. I definitely recommend looking into her work, into her way of thinking and perceiving our world. Right now, her book Communion, which is decades old, is on the bestsellers list for the first time. And it is absolutely worth a search, an internet search, to find out the reason why. See you soon.
Oh, all right. I love that little plug at the end. Thank you, Leah. Amazing. All right, folks, now is the time that we acknowledge and practice the law of circulation. As you give, so shall you receive. When you give to CSL Leesburg, we are able to give back to you. And there are so many ways that you can give. And odds are, if you're a regular attendee, you have found a way that works for you. If not, you can take a look at the screen. You can always go to our website and look for that little donate button. All right, please join me in the blessing of our gifts. The presence of Spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. All right, Reverend Charlene, what do you have for us for announcements?
Just keep
Anything
a just keep an eye
happening?
out. Yeah, not really. Just keep an eye out for that survey. If you filled it all out already, let us know. Okay.
Awesome. Things are coming. Charlene and I are talking about upcoming classes. So fill out the survey. Let us know your thoughts. All right, folks, it's our time to close with our closing affirmation. However, if you have to leave us, we are going to send you off with our love and our blessings. If you can stay, hang out with us. We're going to do our pearls, and pearls is where we talk about what really resonated with you for the meditation, the message, the music. What's happened in your life? What would you like to share with us? Are you feeling that uncertainty? Do you need a little reminder that everything's going to work out to the best and highest good? Hang out with us. If not, we're going to send you off with our love and blessings after we do this wonderful closing affirmation. And Charlene and Dan, are you noticing that all the hearts are in blue? Have you noticed that? Like, what's up with that? If you tuned in early, Dan and Charlene and I were all talking, what? We're all wearing blue today. Look at this. It's all connected. So here we go with our closing affirmation. I am love. Repeat after me.
I am love.
Nice, nice, nice. Love that. All right, look at a furry companion, a family member, a friend, or just send this out to somebody who needs this message. Here we go. You are love.
You are love.
And now let's do that cascade, that tsunami of love. Here we go. You ready? All together. It's all love. It's all love. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to join us. If you can stay, please stay. And if not, we're sending you off with our love and our blessing.